Hello and welcome to the annual episode of Between Two Nerds. I'm Tristan, nerd number one. This is Cam, nerd number two.
Ahoy.
We're talking about LA Noire Rockstar's anti-GTA game. Cam, let's start with the city itself, the recreation of 1947 Los Angeles. Go.
I wish that when we went to E3 every year, that this was the LA we were going to.
Absolutely.
You know, instead we're going to this like smoggy, you know, like freeway congested, homeless infested, you know, dump of a place. Whereas I quite like LA in 1947. I mean, sure, you know, lots of dead chicks turning up all over the city. Pretty much you can't walk down the street without tripping over a naked dead girl. But you know what, I still like it more than modern LA.
I definitely enjoyed the homicide desk the most.
Right.
As soon as you get to the first mission, you get to the crime scene, and there's a dead naked lady, fully naked, and I was pretty horrified, not because she was dead, but because she had an enormous bush. And it's not like you rarely see bush in video games, if ever. And maybe this was making...
I rarely see bush in real life.
Maybe this was making up for lost time, because this was a gigantic bush. And I said to the guys, all right, put down your fingerprint kits and your tape measures. I can solve this case right here. Clearly she died of embarrassment. Have you seen her pubes, guys? And then the coroner was like, but what about the blood? What about the blood, Phelps? And I was like, well, you're right. Clearly she didn't cut herself shaving.
Case closed.
Yeah. Let's move on to the interrogation. The technology that drives them is this motion scan technology, which is really the big deal about LA Noire. How did you find the interrogations?
It's a totally flawed mechanic, and I think it's a very divisive mechanic. But for me personally, I was fine with it. Like it was flawed and it's artificial, but it's a video game, and there are rules in video games, and you just have to accept that that's the way it works. You have to accept that, you know, having a conversation in this kind of sequence is not going to have the nuance that it would in real life. To me, the most frustrating thing was actually just the lack of feedback about why you chose, if you chose the wrong options, why you chose the wrong options. And that was the most frustrating thing for me, because I did get frustrated during the interrogation scenes, but it wasn't actually because of the system, it was because I didn't know why. And so what I would have liked is probably just after the mission when you're driving off with your partner, for him to go, you know what, like you had that moist cigar in your items and you were pressing this witness about the intern, why didn't you show the moist cigar? You know. Actually, speaking of interns, where were you last night when the IGN intern was brutally murdered?
I was at home watching TV. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, really? Well, I've examined the CCTV footage, and I'd just like to present this little piece of evidence.
Welcome to IGN! Intern for internal bleeding!
That was paddling between two consensual adults. There's nothing to see here. Let's move right along. So while the interrogation mechanic might not be perfect, there's no doubting that the technology behind it, in terms of the motion scan faces and whatnot, is pretty awesome. Like, it's pretty amazing, and certainly something that we'll probably see in a lot more games moving forward.
I would say so.
A lot of people are probably going to run with it, like Nintendo with Super Mario.
I never slept with a toad, eh?
Konami with Metal Gear Solid.
I never enjoyed watching Raiden run naked through Metal Gear Solid 2.
Saints Row.
Hey yo, I never stole my best ideas from Rockstar.
Oh, you know what? You know what else would have benefited from it? Heavy Rain, man.
I never lost Jason on purpose.
They're coming up with so many good ideas right now.
And now, of course, it's time for the all-important nerdict, the message that they'll no doubt print on the box. So LA Noire, in my opinion, it's not quite a flawed masterpiece, because I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but it is flawed. But it is great, and definitely so much different to what almost everything else
it's
that's
refreshing
out there.
in that sense.
So definitely worth playing. I'm going to give it a 3.5 fedoras out of a possible hat rack. Cam.
I think that it stumbles a little bit, you know, for a game that's about the greatest swimmer America's ever produced, Cole Phelps. It's so weird that it was set in the,
like 10 gold medals?
Yeah, it was set in the past. There was no swimming in the game at all.
There's no bongs?
So I'm going to give it a 25-meter pool out of a possible 50.